Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Well,
was.
you're gonna have to cool down a little bit there, Gex, because we got another match for you guys. We have Ascent versus Hands Off, which will be the second and final match that we're casting tonight. Ascent, 3-1 in invite versus Hands Off, which is 1-3, so the inverse of that. And Hands Off have had a couple disappointing losses this far. It was a 2-4-1 versus Froyotech and a 1-5 loss versus EVL Gaming, two of the teams that were going undefeated into this night. But also a really close match against one of the teams we just casted, which was Titanium White. They lost 4-5 on Snakewater. So Hands Off have not had the best start to the season, but on paper they have a really strong roster, and I'm expecting good things from them.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of another one of those games, similar to the last one. It should be quite easy for Ascent to pull off here. You know, it's not a bad team on paper by any means, but Ascent, who's playing pretty well here so far this season. I mean, they've had good games. Really, as we were noting, their only loss is to Froyotech, and it was on Viaduct. So, as usual, they're having a strong showing, and I think this game here should be just the same, really, and shouldn't be too much trouble for them. I don't know. What are you thinking, SLIN?
I think Ascent had a they took a loss early this season against Froyotech, which was on Viaduct, which I was really surprised to see. But with the introduction of Clockwork back in, that's probably why they lost. For Ascent, I think the rest of the match should be. The rest of the season, I say, the match that they're playing should be fairly easy for them to take down. So, like you mentioned, I think this one against Hands Off there. Hands Off is actually one of the teams that I thought would be one of the on the upper half of Invite this season, but the performance thus far hasn't really reflected that. So we'll see if Hands Off can prove themselves. I think it's going to be. I'm expecting it to be closer than the match we just saw, maybe like a 5-3 or something like that. But Hands Off, did they, like you said, they've been getting crushed lately against like EVL and a couple other teams that like Titanium White was a 4-5 loss. I think that we're expecting a lot more from them. So, like I said, on paper, I think they would do well, but they just haven't seemed to gel quite as well as we hoped, or as well as I'd hoped.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I don't know. Maybe they'll pull something wacky like Titanium White and accept. I don't know. Maybe gain a few more rounds.
Yeah.
We'll have to see, as they say. So we're just kind of waiting for everybody. Actually, we do have everybody in the server. Cool. So
You do bring up a good point, though, in that Hands Off, formerly known as Meat Market, are known for some really interesting strategies, some like wrap plays and some 2-3 pushes that a lot of other teams in Invite just wouldn't even attempt to do. So they could potentially catch Ascent off guard. I think the issue they're going to struggle with this in this match is that even though they've known each other for a long time, they're not quite as gelled and well refined as Ascent, who've been playing together for seasons and seasons now. So like you got a well-oiled machine versus a group of friends who are still trying to find their place in Invite.
yeah, exactly, and that's one of the toughest things is for them is just Ascent, as you were saying, is just so gelled. I mean, the core of their team has been together for so long, and it's
Oh,
that means a lot going moving forward, and just being a good team overall. That gelling is key, really.
yeah, like you mentioned, the core of their team has been together for some time, but even their new pickups in 404 on Medic and then Yomps on Scout, who's been absolutely stellar. And those guys just fit right into the new roster like so well. And that win that they had of Invite last season was very well deserved. And Ascent is not a team that's known for winning. They were consistently getting second place against Froyotech for the last, 12 months or so, but that last win against Froyotech really put them at the top of the list as, okay, we're the best team in Invite right now. Now with Clockwork back on Froyotech, we'll see how that match goes against EVL, but I think for Ascent, this should be a clear win for them tonight, and maybe they'll have a rocky start like we just saw in the previous
Yeah.
match, but it should be a pretty one-sided game.
I bet that was tough for Ascent going into that Viaduct game, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, Clockwork's playing." You're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, dear God." Like, especially on a map like Viaduct, and you hear a guy like Clockwork's coming into play, and it just has sad face written all over it, really. So, I'd like to see that matchup between Ascent and Froyotech on a 5 CP map too. I think that would be, that'd be pretty interesting to see nonetheless. So,
Yeah.
later in the season.
We'll have a chance to see it once again for sure. You're right, Clockwork and Phototech in general, like Viaduct is their map, and that's a map that Clockwork knows better than virtually anyone else in the game. So yeah, having him in that match was a big way to turn the tide. But I think for Ascent in this matchup, it'll be pretty standard for them. We should go over the rosters, I think.
Good call. That's something we normally do. So, over on the side of Ascent, you have, of course, Rando on Pocket, Mela on Roamer, and Badonsky on Demoman, Yomps, and Yomps and Shrugger on Scout, and 404, one of their new pickups, on Medic. And what are we looking at over on the hands-off side there, Slin?
Yeah, hands off is Cheesy MacGyver and High Five on Scout. You got Blank on Pocket, Slamberg on Roamer, Pelt on Demo, and Dingo on Medic. And I think this is another matchup where I would say Ascent outclass hands off in virtually every class.
Yeah, well, as we know from the last game, that doesn't necessarily mean everything. But if we're gonna go with, if we're gonna go with what's to be expected and what we know of Ascent, this should be pretty routine for the most part for him. So I think we're just waiting on Mela right now, and then once he is alive again, I think we should be going live.
Yep. And I'd say if there's any map in ESEA where a lower level team can beat a high level team, it's Gully Wash. Because there's so many mids, you can try different strategies on each mid to see what works. Go for something crazy, go for something all in, see if you can take a mid down. Once you do, you can slow down the match, go for those one-man sacrifices. That's how we've seen teams get rounds on Gully Wash, and that's why there's no better map for this team hands off to go up against Ascent on.
Well, here we go. We're headed into our second game of the night. A little doubleheader here for you on TFTV. And this one's going to be between Hands Off and last season's champions, Ascent, also on Gully Wash. So we'll take you into our first mid here, as Ascent's already got some good positioning on top of the point area. And, well, Hands Off is going to be down on the ground. Dingo took a pipe from Duatin, actually, and he'll get very, very hurt to start this one off. Mela goes down. Slamberg's going to be an exchange frag with them. Bomb comes through from Blank. Got a lot of damage off on the 404. Couldn't finish off the frag, but he is underneath the point. And
whoa!
What is going on?
Yeah, the scouts are cleaning up there for Hands Off, and they're going to take this first middle. Really unexpected. I love the strategy coming out of Hands Off. This is what we're talking about. Go for something weird. Those two soldiers, Blank and Slamberg, from Hands Off went for something crazy. That flank behind them caught Ascent off guard, and from then on, it was just High Five and Cheesy MacGyver cleaning up everything, and that was really good for Hands Off there. Now there comes the big bomb from Mela to try and crit that force onto Dingo.
Ascent just bullies their way straight back into second point here, and both teams have an Uber to work with now, so we'll see if we see an exchange. Dingo's going to take Cheesy MacGyver in as he almost went down, but 404 has a much better Uber to work with here. They popped it a good bit later, so Rando sent forward trying to find something, but only Blank went down during that fight on the side of Hands Off, so maybe we'll see Ascent make a push on through here.
Yeah, Ascent are just so good at this game. They know exactly their limits. They're willing to just go right in on that. And here they come through the choke now on that one-man advantage, picking off Dingo right away.
Oh, Dingo just got smashed. Slamberg comes back in with Blank, and they're doing a bit of work here. They managed to find 2 frags. Blank is the only one in still, and he will go down. High Five doing anything he can to try and take down 404. Mela says, no way, bro, and that will be Ascent getting that mid back, and they're going to have a good bit of advantage here to work with, SLIN.
Yeah, misplay there by Dingo, just not evaluating properly how explosive Ascent was through that choke, and he just got juggled right up against the wall and taken down. And out come the bomb out of, looks like Slamberg tries to get through the choke there. Can't force 404 though, and that's going to put him a player down.
Yeah, and they're just hanging out in lobby. They know they can't really stick around for all that long. Dingo's only at 50% on his Uber, so I would expect to see Ascent move pretty quickly here on through, and Mela was already in spamming that sentry.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out as well. Mela is so deep already. Preventing that gun from going up is crucial there as the Uber comes in from Ascent.
Look at that, they've already found Pelt. The demo man Dingo goes down as well, so Ascent has the heals and the number advantage. They just stand on the point, nothing they can do about it. And they got that 1-0 lead.
Really nicely done there by Ascent. It's just a textbook play. Yes, they lost middle, but every time they took a point was exactly the way that it needed to be done. They predicted hands off perfectly. So 1-0, Ascent are already starting that roll.
They are definitely looking good here. Like that aggressive play. out of them. So see if Titanium White can get back in. Podonsky really hurt to start off this mid as he really desperately trying to take heals. Cheesy MacGyver goes down and a frag will be exchanged with Mela, Slamberg, and Blank both out of this fight here. And that's going to be hands off, just backing her on up to second as they went down quite a few.
Yeah, and I really like what Ascent did there. They just play with that 2-scout Devilman core. Those 4 players there, they're able to distribute heals really well, and Ascent are able to win that team fight. Now they're already on the second point and making it hard for Hands Off to get in and defend this.
Man, they're trying to get their way through. High Five went down, but they couldn't get the positioning. They just got to back up here, and Ascent wants to take this straight through. They'll take that 1-player advantage. 404 had to pop early because of some damage. Oh my goodness, Dingo nearly dropped his Uber as well. Mela goes down in this fight, Brando as well. And I think that's time to call the backup.
That was such a weird play from Ascent. They had like,
I know.
They like 404 was just wandering around with an Uber, not flashing anybody at all. There was just a miscommunication from Ascent. They lost their soldiers, and it looks like Trucker's in from behind though to take down Dingo over in lobby. So that's gonna be the saving grace for them. The silver lining to keep them in this point as they try their best to spam things out. There's a soldier behind us, Slamberg at the forward spot to take down Mela and Rando. The 2-for-1 is real.
And he gives a little ha 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 in the chat just to let them know they got pooped on a little bit. It was a good play though. Give them a slight. Yeah, they did get slammed. The old Slamberg, giving them the slam. I was trying to make some sort of a witty comment out of that. Wasn't happening. But anyway, they have an advantage here. SLIN, don't let me talk anymore. Talk. They have advantage.
I'm just stoked about Ascent because, yeah, maybe they messed up there at the forward spawn, but they should be able to roll right in here with this Uber as they making a ton of space over at the choke. Look at Podonsky just shoving him back with the stickies. Bomb comes in over the top, though. Cheesy takes down Podonsky, and that's another misplay there by 404, dropping Podonsky on the Uber. They do get the Boston Basher kill on the Slamberg, and they do pick up a couple frags, but Ascent did not use that Uber to full effectiveness.
So now it's Ascent down 2 and, well, Hands Off down 2 as well. And they're just going to have to. And, sorry, excuse me. Anyway, we got, well, Hands Off. They're trying to work their way back in. They do have that advantage, as we were saying. So they're just going to take it for free. And, well, Ascent's got to back her on up.
Yeah, because that Uber wasn't good from Ascent, it looks like Dingo's able to keep his Uber advantage and then just walk it through the choke there. Podonsky not in position in time with that trap up, so it should be an easy take here for Hands Off if they just shove their way in through, but they lose High Five. That's not good.
No, not good at all. That's not what you like to see if you're a Hands Off fan. And Ascent's just about to be up on their Uber. Mela's actually in all the way behind right now. He's just chilling over in River. Which I have no idea how he got through there, but Slamberg, Podonsky, Pelt all down here. Oh my goodness, Hands Off, not looking good. They finally pop this Uber off, but they've lost so many players already. Dingo and Blank just need to get back. Look at the body blocks here. Dingo stays in. He'll just hit the kill bind. He couldn't get through. Oh, the body blocks are real, and things are just, well, that should be around easy for Ascent. They're already standing on the point. That will be it. 2-0.
Yeah. And we were talking about how Mela is able to get behind and disrupt plays there. He's really comfortable over there in the river, just pulling players back and making life difficult for Hands Off. Ascent are up to a 2-0 lead, and these are quick rounds that we're seeing here, Gecks. 3.5 minutes each.
Yeah, Ascent making quick work of Hands Off so far. But, oh, Podonsky? What happened? Oh my goodness. Killed himself. I have no idea how that one happened, but that's going to put Ascent off on the wrong foot right away on the mid, so they all knew better than to really commit any more to that fight. Just back to, did you see what happened there, SLIN?
Yeah, I think he just killed himself on the rollout, and I saw also Shrugger tried to get in on a Dingo, brought him to like the 21 health or so, and almost got the kill there, but Shrugger couldn't come up with it. So looks like Hands Off are gonna walk in through the choke here as Mela hits a double rocket onto Blank to finish him off, and that's gonna put Hands Off in a very precarious situation as they back out through their own choke.
And, well, yeah, oh, now Ascent wants to take this in through Big Door, it seems, to try and catch him maybe quickly if they can. 404 still has yet to use that Uber. He's down pretty low on health. Slamberg's taken out by Yomps, and Ascent will be able to just move straight up. They got the force on the Dingo, too, and I don't think Ascent, well, now they do pop it off and try and just send their players in through Big Door, find some frags maybe. Cheesy MacGyver goes down, so they'll just gain some position here with that Uber, Ascent.
Yeah, Cheesy's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and going down so late is a big problem for Hands Off. They're going to be fighting this 5-on-6 second point here. It's not looking too good for them to hold second. Oh, look at
That's-
Mela. He's so good too. Just takes down Slamberg. Look, he's just fighting the combo, not scared of anything at all.
He's still alive up top too. He managed to get out and actually pick up this pack, and now he's fighting Pell. He got one good rocket off onto him, but now he's starting to back up. So they managed to get Dingo during that fight at some point. I'm not sure when that happened, but Ascent has a large number advantage at the moment. There's only 3 up on the side of Hands Off. They're just getting evaporated on last. Dingo got his respawn, but I don't think that's going to do much for them. I don't know. They need to find the frags quickly though, and well, they pop off the Uber actually, so they should be able to get this point. Yes, they're standing on it. That is an easy first half SLIN for Ascent, 3-0.
Yeah, and I can't really point out like which of the players on Ascent is doing the best. I think Mela might be the best candidate because he has been all over the place getting kills, and the solo kills the pressure that he's putting onto Hands Off has been very difficult for them to manage. And that last kill there that they got onto Dingo came because Mela was like pressuring from the upper health pack, and then Rando was spamming from lower lobby, and the combined spam took down Dingo. So just there's so many threats coming from so many different angles from Ascent. Hands Off having a really difficult time dealing with this. We talked about how this well-oiled machine is like up against a team that's still figuring it out, and you can see that Hands Off doesn't have it figured out.
No, they definitely don't, and you know it's a tough game. Ascent's playing really well right now. I mean, if you had to say one thing to Hands Off to get back into this, what would it be, SLIN? Or I mean, is it just they're completely outclassed and there's really nothing they can do?
Well, we talked about how, you know, if you can win middles and get control of middle point, you can slow the game down and put it in your favor. And they won that first mid off of a really nice soldier play. I think that they just need to do that again. Win middle and then slow the game down and play their strengths, which is just, you know, having control of that mid gives you so much leverage on a map like Gully Wash. Just don't rush it, don't make mistakes. It's really hard to say that when you're up against the best team in North America, Ascent, right now. So it's a tall order, but it's doable.
It's tall, yeah, very tall. It's like Yao Ming tall. I don't know, man. It's a pretty tough one.
It's like an
to
ant
ask
trying to jump over the Empire State Building. It's really difficult, Gecks.
Yeah. Some would say damn near impossible. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We're going into the second half now. A 3-0 lead for Ascent off the start of that first half. Doing it quite quickly as well. I don't know exactly what the time was on it, but it was a pretty quick one, SLIN. So I'll let you go ahead and take our first mid here, the second half.
Yeah, and Ascent have been pretty good after they started figuring out Hands Off on these mids. Mela instantly going underneath there and putting pressure on Big Door, already landing a couple of rockets to start things off, and put High Five in a weird situation where they don't have the high ground control there. You see Dingo hasn't even climbed up through his elbow yet, but in comes behind. That's going to be Slammer through the drop down to take down 4-4, and almost a complete wipe here from Ascent. Trigger, the only remaining member alive, goes down, and this is exactly what we're talking about, Gecks. A complete wipe out of Ascent.
Oh man, look at that. Slamberg bringing it home for the boys again. They're coming up out of that drop down, and they just collapsed on that combo of Ascent in the choke from both sides, and it was just, that was game over from there. And now they want to take this in quickly before they have time to get set up. Yams is on NG trying to maybe get a sentry gun up, but Mela and Badonsky already out of this fight. I'm thinking it should be around for Hands Off, but they still haven't gotten that second cap yet. They have the 2 frags here, but if they don't, oh, they got to get that second cap. They're standing on the point. There they go. Finally finish it off there. What a start to the second half, though.
Yeah, explosive. Take risks. That's what we want to see out of Hands Off. Just go all in and see what happens. And that was really nicely done by Hands Off as they take the middle and just roll it all the way into last. Ascent could do nothing about it.
It really could. Now, a great play from Slamberg coming up through drop down, and they just collapsed on them. But here we go into the next mid. Ascent trying to make up for that last mid because that was pretty brutal. But they've taken quite a bit of damage here. Slamberg is the first victim on the mid. Rando was able to find him, and well, Rando will get cleaned up underneath the point by Blank, and High Five is going to go down as well. Cheese MacGyver getting evaporated on the ground, so Dingo's just trying to get himself out maybe at this point. Oh, Dingo. What? Oh, well, ran right at him. I guess there wasn't too much he could do, actually, now that I think about it. I had the wrong perspective on the mid, but Ascent still rolling straight through there, and they're going to have a full ad.
Oh yeah, and Shrugger's so good at this game. He got a 3K on that middle. He was just darting around and just he provides such a presence when he's on. And right there, he was definitely on, getting those 3 kills for his team and tipping the scales in favor of Ascent there as they begin rolling the way to last. There's going to be a Pyro Engineer setup for Hands Off at last, but there's only level 2, and we've seen how well this goes in the past for teams that try and hold last point and gully watch with a pyro. It actually works out decently, but you got to be in the right position, and he's not right there. As looks like they're shoving their way towards the water.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. You got the whole squad trying to come up through. They're going to pop it in. Rando is up on Pyro, just shoving these guys back. There is a sentry gun there. They're trying to stand onto the point. Yomps goes down. This is such an awkward play from Ascent, and it's not turning out too well for them. Slamberg did get taken out, but Shrugger and Rando actually are able to find a couple. It's a 4v4 fight at the moment, but Ascent is just completely trapped underneath this point. It's such an awkward fight. They're trying to make something out of it, but the heals are not very good. And they're still trying this, though. Ascent, they want to make this happen, but the counter pop comes out of hands off here, and I think that will spell the end for Ascent's push.
Yeah, lesson learned. Rando running around with a back burner pyro trying to push people off the point at water just doesn't work out for them as they get just about cleaned up here. Yomps and Badonsky, the only remaining members alive for Ascent, and that cheese play that they tried to go for, something a little cheeky, didn't really work out that well for them. Ascent, that should have been a clear round for them, but looks like they're going to hand the second point right back over to Hands Off.
They just wanted to keep me up longer tonight, I guess. I got class at 9 tomorrow. They just wanted to keep me up longer and longer. That was definitely a missed opportunity from them, but that will allow Hands Off to just push back into the mid here. Mela is going to get sent up into the sky. Nearly got air shot, but he'll just back up. And right now, Hands Off do have a bit of Uber advantage to work with, about 30% or so, but they still need to find a way to get in this mid because Ascent isn't going to let them have it for free by any means. Just sending the spam across the point, seeing what they can do. Still engaged in this fight, but no frags have gone through yet. It's just a lot of spam, and Slamberg actually is going to be trying to come up through elbow. The Uber's forced out of Dingo, and they're just going to start collapsing. 404 Shrugger, Rando all go down on the side of Ascent. It's disastrous for them, and a great play from Hands Off. Just send them on through, and they're going to have some advantage here once again, SLIN.
Yeah, they definitely overstayed their welcome. I think Ascent, I mean, they had to have known that Dingo was close to Uber because they were playing for a force. Mela went for the bomb and everything. Not quite sure why 404 was so overextended. He gets completely caught out there and taken down and hands the Uber advantage over to Dingo. And this is actually a really decent situation for Hands Off to get back in, although Slamberg did die going for a play over by River. So that's going to make it hard for them to take control of lobby, and they need to take it soon because they only have about 15 seconds to get in there without Uber.
Yeah, they're sitting at 70% right now. Dingo is it's about a 25% advantage, so I would suspect they're going to try and go with this rather quickly. They're all gearing up towards this river side, so I think that's where we're going to see our push come through. Blank's ready to lead the charge with Cheesy MacGyver. They send both of them on through. There's only a little baby level 1 sentry up, but still they have yet to take care of it. Finally, it goes down. It was actually the NG just switching off of the class. Blank tries to come through and bomb onto the point, but he gets crushed. There's only 2 up from Ascent. Make that 0. And Hands Off getting onto the point here. Look at this on the comeback, 3-2.
Yeah, talk about the comeback. And they're just showing Rando how to do a proper Uber push, right? It's like, oh yeah, Rando, that pyro thing you tried to do? No, that doesn't work at all. But yeah. Hands Off going in there with the standard push out of River, and it ends up working out for them perfectly fine. So looks like it's a closer match, about a 1-round gap here between Hands Off and Ascent, but can't tell if Ascent's throwing or not.
Yeah, I don't know. They definitely threw that one last push, but, well, I don't know. After going down 2, I think it's time for them to start seriousing up. We're going to have Slamberg coming up through drop down here in just a second. I don't think anybody's aware of it. One good rocket takes down 404. That's a big frag because Dingo is still alive. Ascent has a number advantage on them. They're trying to keep high 5 in there. Oh no, Dingo stayed in for way too long. The entirety of them stayed in for so long, and they go down. Oh, that's disappointing if you're Hands Off fan.
Yeah, I mean, 404 went down what seems like ages ago. Dingo knew the entire time that his only job was to stay alive, and for some reason they just weren't on the same page there. Half the team stayed in, and Dingo's trying to get out. Dingo decides to come back in to try and save them. He ends up going down there, and that's crucial because that allows 404 to get himself back into the Uber game. So I don't know. Hands Off, they should have known that, like, 404 went down, right? Like, Dingo had every opportunity to get out of that. It was so weird.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you've seen that play from Ninja numerous times. Just back up, wait. You know, you don't have to force the issue on the mid. You're going to have advantage, but, you know, they wanted to try for it anyway, and it's going to cost them potentially dearly here, as right now they are trying to
that was their chance to tie up this match at 3-3, and they're gonna try and shove their way back to second point. But look at the way that Yomps is playing. He's single-handedly pushing that combo back to last, and looks like the rest of the team is gonna follow shortly after to try and take lobby.
They're starting to move on through it right now. Both teams have the Uber, and you have Cheesy sitting back there trying to put up a sentry. Badonsky actually goes down on the side of Ascent, and well, that's going to mean they're just backing up the second, kind of waiting for the respawn to come through. I don't know if... It doesn't look like Hands Off really wants to do much with that pick. They actually lost Slamberg too, so...
Yeah, as soon as Badonsky got picked, Yomps just collapsed onto one of the soldiers of Hands Off right over in lower main. I believe that was Slamberg, so he just gets the pick there and then backs right off. So evens that out. Hands Off not going to go for the push, and looks like Ascent are, you know, in a position where they can slow the game down and have control of it once again. And this is kind of the boring part of TF2, but Ascent, if they want to secure this win, they should do it nice and slow. But maybe they're not going to go for that. They've seemed pretty cocky in this match thus far. The disrespect is real.
Yeah, that cough, that Pyro last push. Because, I mean, they would be sitting most likely at a 4-2 lead had they not gone for that, but it still sets them up 3-2. Shrugger goes in, gets taken out by the Sentry. Slamberg and Blank both go down, so that may cue a push from Ascent. They're definitely moving towards that shutter now.
That was greedy. As soon as Shrugger went for that sacrifice, they tried to push out with their soldiers from Hands Off and lost both of them. So this is going to be a weird exchange at last as the Ubers are popped up for both teams. They did lose their sentry gun for Hands Off, and looks like Ascent are down a player. They're not going to go for this push. Things are going to reset here, but there was an opportunity for Ascent to actually make that push when they were up in numbers.
It definitely was. They took a while to get the force on the Dingo too, so I kind of held them up a little bit, but they have like 15% advantage. It's pretty tough to make any sort of moves with that, but I don't know, maybe
but
they'll
do they
get
know?
ballsy.
I mean, it's so hard. Yeah, teams don't really know.
Yeah, exactly.
15%, 10%, 5%, whatever it is. So they might just choose to go right here. It looks like Badonsky's peeking for it. Lower main, they are going to pop the Uber in.
They take it through. There is a sentry gun up that goes down right away.
Oh, Dingo!
Get the 5 frags. Dingo gets taken down by the pipes from Badonsky. Mela and Rando both out of it as well. And that will make them have to back up. But they did get Dingo, which is crucial for them because now they're going to have some pretty big advantage, SLIN.
Yeah, that was the Badonsky shot there. They pop him in through main, take down the gun, and he hits the pipe onto Dingo. Nicely done by Badonsky to clutch that for his team. And they're not going to go for a push here, but that Uber advantage is huge there. They got 20 seconds advantage over Dingo. They're just going to wait, build it up here, and looks like Hands Off are going to have to go for the classic engineer pyro setup, which hasn't really worked out for them that well, but that was when... Oh, it did work out for them when Rando was on pyro, but now that he's on soldier, I don't think it's going to work out for them.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, they got the pick on a Blank too, and they definitely want to start moving this towards Riverside. They're at 90% right now. Blank still has 7 seconds on the respawn, but High Five's waiting over there. As Pyro, they're trying to send Shrugger on through, and Badonsky to try and get this sentry gun. It is taken down the dispenser as well, but Pelt's just sitting down there by the point. They are finding some frags. Dingo actually got taken out. Pelt down as well. High Five's out of it. Ascent lost 3, and it's a desperate fight for this last point. Cheesy's the only one alive, though. He gets taken out. That is Ascent getting another round on the board there after a pretty back and forth encounter, but they are up 4-2.
I'm nodding my head over here because that's how you do it right. Take the scout in, take the demo man with the Uber to take down the sentry gun, and then park your soldiers on the high ground and shoot down at the point. Ascent played that perfectly. 4-2 is the lead, and match point now, and this could be another 5-2 game.
It's looking that way. I don't know, maybe Hands Off will get a second win and get back into this, but both teams going up each other's sides. Cheesy is actually all the way back. He's quite hurt. He's behind Ascent at the moment. They lose Blank and Cheesy though, and that might be time for them to start getting out here. But it's going to be tough because I gotta find a way to work their way back around here. Ascent's looking pretty good, and it's 3 players down for them at the moment, and they are just getting closed in on Ascent. Oh, just crushing them towards the tail end of that mid. Not too much more you can say about that, and that will be a full advantage for 404.
Blank went down really early, and Ascent knew that they were going to win the mid, and I think High Five and his team knew that they were going to lose that mid as well. Dingo started positioning himself near the choke to try and back out. They were trying to create a distraction for Slamberg, but Random turned around and headed that off right away. So Ascent just able to foil hands off every turn there, and now they have this huge Uber advantage. We've seen them execute this many times before, so there should be another clean round for them, but they're just setting up the lobby right now.
There's no need to rush too quickly if you're on the side of Ascent. I mean, you know, they still have 60%, and they want to try and take this down on that river side again, as I think they're going for that under the point. Oh my goodness! The sticky trap from Pelt finds 3, drops 404. Oh my! I guess he was expecting maybe that play from under again, or just to catch somebody off guard, but that was one of the biggest sticky traps that you can have as a player. Massive play to keep them in this game.
Yeah, the way that Ascent's strategy works, this cheese play that they go for, you have to all-in commit to River, because if you go straggling in one at a time, you get spammed out and forced over at River. So they all dive in there right on top of a sticky trap. It was perfectly played there by Pelt. So looks like Hands Off are going to go for a push out as they're turning a couple frags over here by a second point over by the big door. Now they're going to collapse into second and actually get this capture. They got to watch out for the sticky trap there. They're clearing that out. So yeah, they are going to get this cap down, and Hands Off are able to successfully push out. And there's a big bomb in.
Ooh, Rando's able to get Blank, finish him off. Took quite a bit of damage. Rando getting the arrow, trying to keep himself alive, but he is just so hurt. Should go down here shortly. And Ascent lost a lot of guys there. 404 down. And it's only Mela and Yomps up at the moment, so they're just going to have to sit at second, wait for the rest of their team. But look at this momentum now that Hands Off is working with.
Yeah, it's looking good for them. Shrugger playing that classic sniper in forward spawn game, and I think that Hands Off kind of know what's up, because Shrugger does this so often. They're going to begin peeking their way through choke, and man, we'll be upset here if Dingo drops. There's a soldier above, that's Mela spamming some rockets down. He gets pushed right off. Did they spot Shrugger though? They probably saw him. The door's still open as there's a scout caught out behind the rock. This high five goes down to Yomps, and that's going to spell disaster for this Uber advantage push from Hands Off.
They're sending it on through from big door. 404 is only at 60% at the moment. They're starting to get onto the point here as well. So this is kind of an awkward fight. Slamberg goes down, and Hands Off losing a lot of guys here. 404 barely stays alive, but it's only Dingo and Cheesy MacGyver. I don't know if they're going to be able to get out of this fight alive. Cheesy should go down, most likely. Yeah, they're starting to chase, actually. Dingo's going to at least get himself out here, which is crucial.
Yeah.
But they do hold off that push.
Yeah, good distraction from Cheesy just jumping in there and giving up his life to get Dingo out, but that was a really terrible Uber from Hands Off. They're going to look back at that play later on and just start scratching their head and wondering why High Five died so early in that fight, and now Ascent the momentum back in their favor. Even with the Ubers evening out here, Cheesy is still dead, so they're going to go for this push through Big Door.
And they're going to pop. Mela up top does take down Blank. High Five's over in the choke. Should get closed in on Slamberg's out of the fight as well. High Five was actually able to find 2. He got Rando and Yomps.
Yeah, but Dingo didn't pop here. Actually, there's a chance for them to come back in. They have the Uber. They're going to block this point easily. There's a scout behind over at Big Door. That's Shrugger at 20 health. He's not much of a threat. As the Uber comes in through the choke, they're trying to get 404 down there, but he barely skates out of there alive. Meanwhile, the back cap from Shrugger that we were talking about still going down, but there's a ×6 on middle. Looks like Hands Off should get this capture down as the bomb.
Rando. Oh, he just popped Dingo up and crushed him after that with 2 rockets. That was gorgeous. But anyway, sorry to cut you off. That was a pretty cool frag. But anyway, Ascent's moving on through here. They got the momentum now. Full ad to push last.
I was looking good for Hands Off too, because they were on there. Like you said, it just Rando saves the day and gets that kill on the medic, and 404 is right back in here with a 80% advantage. Hopefully they don't drop to another Pelt trap here as they push their last point through the river.
They are going to send it through. They're not. Well, they got 1 frag. Actually, Badonsky went down. They take out the sentry, but the rest of Ascent is just not in here on the fight, really. They never got through, and that's another botched last push out of Ascent. Yeah. With the attempt, or with the chance to win the game. They're unable to do it. Again, I don't know what it is, but they hold it off, man.
Well, it's like the first time they went for it, they were so ballsy and popping so late, they dropped to the Pelt trap, and then the second time they were so scared of the Pelt trap, they popped super early, and then they had dropped Badonsky. So Ascent not able to successfully convert that, but Shrugger's in behind her to take down Dingo, and it looks like Ascent want to contest this point.
Well, they're trying to, but Rando's pretty hurt. Badonsky's at about half health, but they are finding frags. It's only Blank and Pelt alive right now. They're going to try and cap this as quickly as they can and start moving. They still have a bit of time on those 2 scout respawns on the side of hands off. But they have a lot of advantage here, actually. Ascent, Badonsky ends up going down to Blank, who's inside the lobby. He takes down 404 too. Every time Ascent has an opportunity, a good opportunity to win the game, somebody from hands off is making the plays happen. That time off the hands of Blank, getting Demo Man and Medic. That's some big stuff.
Yeah, an unlikely play there. The rocket shotgun combination. Blank's been playing Pocket for a really long time. He knows it really well and is able to convert 2 key frags there, taking down Badonsky, the Demo Man, and the Medic. Those are 2 of the best classes that you can take down. And looks like hands off are in a prime position to push out. We've seen them botch this before, Gecks. It seems like that second point keeps changing hands back and forth and back and forth. Hopefully this will be the time where they can finally hold on to it as they start to make their way through River. This is a risky push.
It's so awkward. Hands off can't push second, Ascent can't push last, and we just keep going back and forth here. Shrugger goes down to a trap from Pelt. Big bomb in through from Slamberg. Got some damage off. Couldn't quite get a frag of his own, but and they are going to at least get second this time, hands off. They managed to make it that far. Dingo has an Uber to work with. They have, well, not any advantage anymore. So they're just going to wait in mid here as Ascent comes up on their Uber.
Yeah, it's weird the way that they're playing. Dingo's stacking second point, just showing no intention to push in the middle with that 30% advantage that he could have gone on. So they're just content to even things out here despite being down 4-2. And there's not that much time left in this match. About 11 minutes here as they get the pick onto Ascent. This is their cue to go, though.
Yeah, they're trying to move. They actually have High Five and Slamber both trying to work their way through. Bomb in from Blank. That's a great force out of him. He should lose his life for it. He does. Mela goes down, though, and I think High Five should get taken out by Shrugger. Indeed, he does. So they've lost a couple, and actually the return force from somebody, I think it was Rando, that got in through choke and got that force on a Dingo, which is great for them. And now Ascent wants to oh, I thought they were going to try it maybe.
Yeah.
Go through, but they're just going to hang out for now.
It's so weird there for hands off. They got a really good force out of 404, but they popped far back. Like you said, Rando got that force right by over by the rock, and rather than taking the Uber in the middle and actually creating space, they just used their Uber to maintain space. So they didn't get anything out of that at all, and things even out.
So we're back to square one. Shrugger's gonna come up on Sniper, and no off classes from, yeah, no off classes on the side of hands off. They actually have Dingo sitting up top. A lot of their guys sitting up top here, just above Big Door. So we'll see what Shrugger can find. He is trying to make his peek over from Big Door here. And, well, actually, Rando finds Slamberg inside of lobby. Shrugger getting really aggressive, gets a good headshot off onto Pelt's, gonna finish him off with a body shot as well. Here comes the frags from Ascent. Hands-off players dropping like flies here, and they are gaining their full entrance into second.
Yeah, and Yomps with the Boston Basher out is able to force Dingo, and looks like Rando's ready and poised to get this Uber into last. They don't want to use it quite yet. They have plenty of time here to work with as they start to capture a second point, but this is, I keep saying this. I feel like I said this so many times, Gecks. This is like a full Uber advantage push into last. They should convert this. It should be easy, but it's been foiled so many times. I can't say that anymore.
Like, yeah, that's what you would expect. Should be easy for them. Thank God they didn't go for the full under push again here. They take down the sentry gun pretty quickly. Ascent making their way into last. Mela's the first victim on this push, though. They're not finding frags once again. Ascent, they did get a few, but it's a 2v4 fight at the moment. Only Shrugger and Badonsky. Oh. Shrugger was able to get one. The point from Badonsky. Another headshot from Shrugger. Now it's just a 1v1. But Sniper v Scout, not going to win that battle most times. That was that was wild. Some good sniping from Shrugger. Unable to secure the round, though.
One of the most brilliant plays of single-handed skill that I have seen in quite some time. Shrugger hitting 2 point-blank instant headshots, is able to convert a couple frags, but isn't able to win the round for his team. These Ubers are just terrible from Ascent. They're not working out that well as hands off once again in a position to push out. They're trying to get capture shot on second point here, but the combo from Ascent is putting up quite the fight and making things difficult for them.
Oh, Cheesy coming out from Big Door as well, is able to take down Badonsky, and 404 is going to go down here as well. It seems he does pick up the pack, but he's just got a million guys all over him. And I don't know what to make of this game, SLIN. And look at this, to top it off, Yomps on spot. But he's He's down.
No, that was not good from him. It's weird. Like Ascent should be crushing this. The way they're playing is so disrespectful. It's so cocky. Like that Yance play on Spy. It's just like it's like they don't care at all. They're just playing very freely, and yet it's so careless that they're just making mistakes. That these should be textbook plays for a team at this level of the game, and they're just botching them for whatever reason.
It's so weird. Slamberg just sitting with his back turned to upper lobby, died over at the lower shutter. I have no idea what he was doing, but I literally just placed like 3 stickies underneath his feet while I wasn't looking, standing still, and just crushed him. So they're down 3 guys right now. Hands off. They're going to bomb in. Should be able to catch Peld out, it seems. He's quite hurt at the moment. I thought that was a pretty secure frag for them, but it doesn't look like they're going to find it. Badonsky and Mela actually both go down, so the push from Ascent is... well, it's foiled once again, and they're going to have to back up the second.
Yeah, good play there by Hands Off, actually. A couple overextending Ascent players trying to get in the middle, and they didn't take the Uber in with it. So it looks like Hands Off are numbers up on even Ubers. They need to get a force out of 404. They're spamming him down. They get that pop there, and Dingo's comfortably backed by Rock.
The counter pop does come out, but they have such a better Uber here. I think 404 might get caught in. Yeah, he's very, very hurt. Shrugger's got to make the play to keep his medic alive. Reinforcements coming through from Ascent, though. And 404 does manage to keep himself in this one. High five, Slamberg, Dingo all go down. The pipes from Adonsky coming through once again for Ascent, but a counter bomb from Blank to try and grab 404 if he can. Not going to be able to, and they're going to have some advantage to work with here.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset by Dingo. Is not in the right position with that Uber. He knew that he had a better pop, but wasn't close enough to 404 to keep his players flashed to take down that medic. And Hands Off, unfortunately, to back off of that. The reinforcements, like you said, came right in through for Ascent and saved the day. We're able to turn enough frags there and take back middle. And now this huge Uber advantage for 404 is a big threat for Hands Off.
Now, the time has got to be winding down here. I'm not sure exactly how much, but I'd have to imagine it's somewhere around
6 minutes or so.
5 minutes. Yeah, something like that. And Ascent's trying to make their push. Slamberg was waiting up top to try and force, unable to do so. Blank is down as well. 2-player advantage for Ascent here, and I think Pelt's going to get caught out in lobby. Indeed he is. Dingo's only at 60%. This should be the match for Ascent. They come in, take down Dingo. High five is going to get crushed here at last as well. They just need to stand on this point. Indeed they are, and that will finally close it down in the winding minutes of the game. Ascent takes it 5-2. It took them a while, but they eventually pulled it off.
Yeah, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again, right? And they just kept trying and trying. And for Hands Off, they kept trying as well. I mean, they were able to take back second point many times, which is such a hard retake to do. The fact that they were able to retake second over and over again is actually pretty impressive. But Ascent just seemed like they were playing kind of sloppy, and it's good. They're having some fun with it. You know, it is a video game. They're playing around, which is what you should be doing, I guess. But
right.
I don't know. You kind of want to see them close it out cleanly.
Yeah, it definitely was kind of a sloppy game all around from them. If we take a look at some of the stats here, I'm looking at the stats from last game. I was about to say Showstopper with 300 some DPM. No, but actually Pelt had quite a large amount of DPM this game for Hands Off. He was sitting at 373 and 369 out of Slamberg as well. And I think the highest over on Ascent was 337 out of Badonsky. So pretty interesting numbers, but still, Ascent comes out with a 5-2. You see anything in those stats that catches your eye there, SLIN?
No, I don't see the rando Uber Pyro on last, and I don't see the botched Uber plays into last that we should be seeing here on the stats somewhere. They should be here somewhere. I'm not quite sure where they are.
I wish they were.
Yeah, no, it's what we expected out of Ascent, right? We expected a one-sided victory, but Hands Off to take a few rounds, and that's exactly what we saw. So a 5-2 game in both of the matches that we saw tonight from what was a stronger team, which was a top-tier North American team versus like a mid-tier or a lower-tier invite team. That's what you expect. 5-2. It was close. It was back and forth, but you would expect closer, like cleaner play from those top teams.
Yeah, it was, as we've said a few times, a little bit sloppy, but they got the job done. Just as I said with, with TSU, it's still a win. Take the dub where you can get it. It's still a win. Yep. So definitely take that any day of the week. So 5-2, Ascent beating Hands Off.
I think the most curious stat that you see here is that even though Ascent beat Hands Off 5-2, the damage for Hands Off is more than Ascent. Hands Off had
Yeah.
50,000 damage on their team in the match, and Ascent had 46,000 damage. So somehow they did less damage and they still won by 3 rounds, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, like I was saying, like Pelt and Slamberg both have pretty big numbers in the DPM department. It's kind of an awkward stat, and yeah, awkward stats. And as you said, Ascent still winning. I don't know. They made it work, which is what they're concerned about at the end of the day. So that will be another win from them. That sends Ascent now at, what is that, a 4-1 record overall. So they're looking pretty good so far on this season. Now that's 1-4 for Hands Off, but I think we're almost towards the end of the night here. SLIN, any closing comments before we shut her down?
I'm just checking around the other match. We covered 2 out of the 3 matches in Invite tonight. The third match was EVL versus Froyotech, and EVL had an upset win against Froyotech. They are currently undefeated 6-0. Froyotech tied with Ascent at 4-1. So EVL Gaming is upsetting the Invite balance right now. We expected the top 3 teams to be Ascent, Team Solo Uber, Froyotech, and EVL sticks itself right at the top of that list. So definitely a team to watch out for in the coming weeks. And yeah, I think I would love to see Ascent play against EVL. I think that's the next one that I would love to see. Just see if EVL can prove their mettle against all the top teams.
Yeah, they are. They're making some moves in the Invite scene. They're upsetting the balance for sure. So it's definitely one to keep track of. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the next. We'll be seeing them play. Okay, so we'll see Ascent versus EVL on Sunshine next week. So definitely mark that on your calendars. We're gonna watch that match because it'll be a big one.
Yeah, that should be really big. I think really it should be one of the better matches of the season overall. But it looks like this EVL and Froyo one is quite a game as well. So lots of good TF2. It's good. The season's been kind of up in the air all around. It makes for some exciting action for sure.
Yeah, and can't wait to see. I mean, it looks like the season's sort of solidifying a bit. I think right on the bubble, at the edge of the bubble, is Running with Scissors at a 2-2 record. So Running with Scissors have a possibility of maintaining their position and making it to playoffs. But if you look at the bottom half of Invite, it's 1-4, 1-4, 1-5. So it's really those top 5 teams: EVL Gaming, Froyotech, Ascent, Team Solo Uber, and Running with Scissors that'll be in the running for playoffs.
We'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out. We're only in week 3, so we got lots of time to go here. But without further ado, I think we are going to send her packing, I believe. Do you have once again anything else for us here, SLIN? I think I already asked you that.
If you ask me, I'm just gonna keep throwing stuff out there. So you better not ask me. But
all right, well.
Talk about TF2 all day long, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I better shut you down before it gets out of hand. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for us over here on Team Fortress TV. For myself, Gecks, and SLIN, Mathsad, big shout outs to him for the production tonight. We say goodnight to you guys. Definitely check the schedule over on TFTV and keep up with all the casts when we'll be doing them next. It's almost every day of the week at this point, so stay tuned. But we say goodnight to you guys, and we'll see you next time.